All right, here we go. The one that counts. This is LO206 Senior final race for round 8 at the Oregon State Karting Championship Series. So, as I mentioned in the prior video, the starting positions for the final are based on the average of your Heat 1 and Heat 2 finishing positions. So, Heat 1 I finished P7, and Heat 2 I finished P9. So I am starting this race in P8. 8 out of 10, not great. Definitely at the back of the field. It was really unfortunate. I had high hopes going into this weekend with my repaired engine, and pretty solid performance last time around despite that. So yeah, I was a little disappointed starting so far back in the final, but you know, that's just how it goes. Really took a lot of mental energy to let my frustrations go to the back of my mind and just focus on what I needed to do in this race. One thing I've noticed on the outlaps is the other drivers go so fast, and I typically have to catch up at the end. I don't know why that is. I typically like to take some time to get some heat into the tires and turning a little bit. So yeah, different strokes. All right, so as we line up, again, it's going to be the same format as the prior two races. There's going to be 2 green flags. First one is for Junior 2, and then the second one will be for us in the senior class. All right, a little bit of cloudy conditions this race and last compared to the sunny qualifying in Heat 1. Temps stayed about the same, and so did the relative humidity and density. So to be honest, not too many changes were necessary for tire pressures and the like. So pretty consistent day. Unfortunately, the accident in the prior race bent my steering column and axle, so I'm dealing with that this race. I can't actually see the green flag in this camera view. There we go, green flag. Again, pretty good. A couple feet off the line. Able to actually stay with 14 and start to close in on him off the line, which is nice to see. First time I've actually been able to close down a gap to the driver in front of me off of a start. Unfortunately, I couldn't get around him. Just filed in behind 14, and here we go to start the longest race of the day. Stayed with the same gearing as the prior heat. I felt, like I mentioned in the prior race, a little bit more competitive on that gearing. So I figured I'd just keep it the same and send it. Here behind Lawrence, 368. Such a great guy. Love racing with him. And yeah, we had a good weekend. All right, coming around the final corner for the first lap. Not too bad. Retained my starting position, which is good, although definitely looking to make up some positions and not finish in 8th. Go up the inside of 14 there after he makes a mistake, able to follow Lawrence through. There's one position down. Lawrence tags the curb there a little bit on the inside, but still gets a pretty good run, not able to close down that gap. And this is the situations where, you know, I mentioned in the prior race, it's so challenging following close behind other drivers because you need to be, you know, watching your racing line and making sure that you're driving the optimal line while also paying attention to the driver in front of you, but not too much because then you just get fixated on their bumper and you mess up your line. So it's a balancing act for sure. 14 there appears full of grass. That is because they cut the corner completely. They locked up and just plowed through the inside grass there. A little bit frustrated, however, was able to get a good run there and overtake 14 to regain the position. So yeah, minimal impact there due to cutting the track. So we move on. So now just trying to put in some quick laps to get back up behind Lawrence in this group of 3 up ahead. These are the 3 drivers that I really am racing and would love to, obviously finish in front of. I drive here a little bit of a defensive line down the main part of the straight to block off the inside attack from 14. He was right on my bumper, but still get a pretty good exit out of turn 1 and 2, which is nice. So closing down the gap to the group of 3 ahead. That is just purely a mistake. I can't blame that on anything else other than, I overcooked the entry. I was getting a little bit overconfident there. Carried too much speed and just couldn't keep it sucked onto the track there on the exit. So that's 100% my bad, and I was really frustrated with myself. However, that kind of snapped my head game into place. I was a little bit embarrassed by that mistake, and I was like, no, there's no way that this is the result of the final race. So I really was able to get my head to a really good spot after that, and I was just determined to make up for that mistake. Consistency and clean, fast driving is so important in a class like this where momentum is everything and the engines are fairly consistent with each other. If you make one mistake like that, I'm lucky that I only lost 1 position. Or 2 positions, rather. Alright, so you can see here I am actually closing the gap a little bit to the driver up ahead. I can't tell who that is just yet, but yeah, I was really starting to feel in the zone here these next couple laps. Really happy with that turn 1. Turn 2, able to not bog it down too much. Just let the kart kind of drift. Not drift, but follow the line of least resistance there on 2. All right, so this is 28, kart 28 up ahead. They started right next to me at the beginning of the race. Through the S's, able to make up quite a bit of time here. A little bit of a moment, able to catch 28 and then look for the overtake here through the final corner up the inside. Alright, so 1 down from that mistake. I still need to get in front of 14 to be back to where I was prior to the mistake. So, let alone what I could have done if I didn't make that mistake. So, that happens. Just got to keep your head down and not let the frustration drive your technique. A little bit of moment there with 69 going off the track. Pushed a little wide there, so able to make up that position. So now technically I'm equal to where I was prior to the mistake. However, not really, because I really want to get in front of 14 here. Feeling pretty good on pace. Able to close down that gap, so I was pretty encouraged here, honestly. Looking at this point, when you're about this close, you're not really close enough to make an attack. However, it is a good time to be sort of watching the driver ahead of you, seeing where maybe their weaknesses are, seeing where they're making consistent mistakes, and sort of thinking about that when you're setting up a pass. Here, able to just simply get a better run out of turn 5 down this back straight. We're neck and neck. I'm going to take the inside here. Not able to hold on to it. It's that same situation where, kind of that first right-hander, you can go up and try to take the inside of that corner. However, if the driver on the outside of turn 6 keeps their foot in at turn 7, you're on the outside and the track exit is quite narrow. So you sort of have to concede that if they keep their foot in. Definitely a quick decision to be made, though, right in between those turns. So, all right, here's another lap, another attempt to try to make an overtake here on 14. Again, I get a better exit out of turn 5. See if I have enough momentum here. And I am able to stick it. So, happy to get back in front of 14. Now on to the next one. This is 38X. Her and I have very similar pace, so, we're often racing around each other and have had some good battles in the past. To be honest, though, I was a little leery considering the incident that we had together the prior race. I had seen a few mistakes happen, including the one that impacted me, and I really want to make sure I gave a ton of space when I found a moment to pass. So gave a wide berth there and able to beat them down through the S's. So made up that position and feeling pretty good. So yeah, again, just sort of head down, trying to put in quick laps. However, unfortunately, there's going to be an accident here, and I'm actually going to not say anything and see if you guys can hear the tires behind. Might not have been able to hear it. However, I did notice it as I came through that corner. There was a lot of tire screeching. I figured that the drivers behind me just had a minor lockup. Look over my shoulder right here and didn't see anyone behind me, and it was odd. And then as I came around this corner here, that's when I noticed the red flag. So race is neutralized right now. We're instructed to go slow and basically come to a stop at a safe spot and wait for track marshal direction. None of us were really sure what exactly happened. It looked to be at turn 1, and so I kind of had a hunch that it happened right behind me. So it turns out that, one of the drivers behind me, 38X, I believe, locked up and spun, and then 14 right behind her had nowhere to go and basically plowed right into her, and ended up flipping his kart and getting kind of stuck underneath the kart as it was spilling fuel onto the track. Marshals were able to run over and get the kart off of him fairly quickly, which was good. Both drivers are okay, minor bruises. Their karts are not. But we were all very happy to hear that everyone was okay. Race director made the decision to end the race here. Final positions are based on the results of the last fully completed lap. I ended up P6 overall. Better than I thought I was going to be ending the day in, but unfortunate circumstances. As always, thanks everyone for watching.